In 2026, Europe is no longer opening its doors. It's shutting them and pushing people out. Governments across the continent are enforcing the toughest immigration crackdowns in modern history. Some countries are deporting thousands, while others are rewriting asylum laws overnight. The stakes have never been higher, and the consequences are already sending shockwaves through communities. Stay tuned, because one nation on this list is changing Europe forever. Across Europe, a complex mix of economic, political, and social pressures is fueling the push for tougher immigration laws and tighter border controls in 2026. Rising concerns over job competition and strained public resources have led many governments to prioritize national interests and security. Political parties are responding to growing public unrest, with debates over migration shaping election outcomes and legislative agendas. Social tensions, amplified by polarized media coverage and shifting demographics, have further intensified calls for decisive action. Together, these forces are driving a wave of reforms that are reshaping the continent's approach to migration and asylum. Finland has introduced a new wave of rapid deportation procedures, giving authorities the ability to process and remove asylum seekers at unprecedented speed. Emergency border powers now allow officials to reject applications almost immediately, tightening control over who can enter and remain in the country. These measures mark a significant shift from previous policies, reflecting growing concerns over migration and border security. As a result, Finland is setting a new standard for swift enforcement in Europe's evolving immigration landscape. Denmark is intensifying its zero-tolerance stance on immigration in 2026. Authorities have introduced offshore asylum processing, relocating applicants outside the country while their cases are reviewed. Rejected applicants now face swift and aggressive removals, with fewer opportunities to appeal decisions. These measures reflect Denmark's commitment to strict border control and have sparked debate across Europe about the balance between security and humanitarian obligations. Switzerland is taking a hard line on immigration in 2026, introducing stricter residency renewal requirements and scaling back protections for foreign nationals. These changes mean that many immigrants now face tougher hurdles to remain in the country. As a result, authorities have reported record numbers of removals, with more individuals being deported than in previous years. The new policies reflect Switzerland's broader commitment to tightening border controls and prioritizing national security. Austria has taken decisive steps to tighten its immigration policies in 2026. Authorities now have expanded powers to deport immigrants whose residence permits have expired, streamlining the removal process. In addition, the government has imposed stricter rules for family reunification, making it more challenging for migrants to bring relatives into the country. These measures reflect Austria's broader effort to reduce irregular migration and reinforce border security. The changes have sparked debate among policymakers and human rights advocates alike. Belgium has rolled out new policies aimed at accelerating the detention and removal of undocumented migrants. These measures come in response to growing political pressure and public debate over immigration control. Authorities now have expanded powers to detain individuals without legal status and expedite their deportation processes. The government argues that these changes are necessary to maintain order and address concerns about irregular migration. As a result, Belgium is seeing a noticeable increase in removals throughout 2026. The Netherlands has taken decisive action in 2026 by enacting emergency migration laws aimed at tightening its borders. These new regulations significantly reduce the number of asylum approvals, making it much harder for migrants to gain legal status. Authorities are now prioritizing forced returns, with a sharp increase in deportations of those whose applications have been rejected. This shift reflects mounting political pressure and a broader European trend towards stricter immigration enforcement. As a result, many migrants in the Netherlands are facing an uncertain future. Italy has taken decisive action in 2026 by expanding its maritime controls and intensifying efforts to deport migrants who lack legal status. Authorities are now intercepting more vessels along the Mediterranean, aiming to prevent unauthorized arrivals before they reach Italian shores. Deportation procedures have been streamlined, resulting in faster removals and fewer opportunities for appeals. These measures reflect Italy's commitment to tightening its borders and responding to growing domestic and European pressure over migration. The impact is being felt both at sea and within communities across the country. France has enacted a series of controversial immigration reforms in 2026, dramatically expanding police authority in deportation cases. The new laws give law enforcement greater discretion to detain and remove individuals without legal status. At the same time, the government has reduced the number of appeal options available to those facing deportation, making it harder for migrants to challenge removal orders. These measures have sparked intense debate across the country, with critics warning of potential human rights violations and supporters arguing they are necessary to maintain public order. The United Kingdom is ramping up its efforts to control immigration in 2026, implementing some of the strictest measures seen in recent years. Authorities have increased the rate of asylum rejections, making it harder for applicants to secure protection. At the same time, the UK has signed new third-country relocation agreements, allowing for the transfer of migrants to other nations. These combined actions have resulted in historic levels of deportations, signaling a dramatic shift in the country's approach to migration and border control. Migration policy experts are calling this moment the beginning of a containment era in Europe. Legal scholars warn that the region's asylum systems are being stretched to their limits, with new laws and executive actions imposing unprecedented restrictions. Human rights organizations have raised alarms about the potential consequences for vulnerable individuals as governments prioritize border control and rapid deportations. The scale and speed of these changes mark a significant departure from previous European migration policies. Germany has dramatically shifted its approach to immigration in 2026. Once recognized as Europe's most welcoming nation, it now leads the continent with sweeping deportation reforms and expanded detention powers. Authorities have tightened residency enforcement, resulting in a significant increase in expulsions. These measures are setting a new standard for immigration control across Europe, influencing policy changes in neighboring countries. The impact of Germany's actions is already being felt far beyond its borders. The sweeping immigration crackdowns across Europe in 2026 have sparked intense debate and uncertainty about the continent's future. While some argue these measures are necessary for stability and security, others warn of deepening humanitarian crises and the erosion of asylum protections. The true impact of these policies remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: Europe stands at a crossroads. This year marks a pivotal moment, with decisions made today likely to shape migration and society for years to come.